today we are in the land of dragons, and I have a confession to make. What you see me doing now is basically the technique that I used for my dragon, but I'm just doing this to show you where I put the colours, because these are not the colours that I used in the original. The footage, some of the footage from the original, where you can actually see I've got blue fingernails, some reason it got lost, and where you see me putting on the red mica on the dragon, that's all we had. So this is just sort of to show you where I put chameleon paints and how I put them, and these are not even the chameleon powders that I used. It was a different set. This is just purely to show you the technique. Sorry about that, but these things happen. So I did this gold. This is the Let's Resin chameleon powders, but the original, which I prefer, was done with mermaid's tears, and that is a stunning colour. I'll tell you when the original comes in, when it is actually the colour scheme that I'm using. And all I do is use a paintbrush, nice soft paintbrush, and you don't really need a lot of chameleon mica, because a little does go a long way. Whatever colours you use, try and blend them together, and remember to go up the sides like that with the colour and make sure it's all covered. Otherwise, when you pour in the black resin, which is what you would ideally use for chameleon colours to make it pop, you will get a few little patches of mica powder, and then you'll get solid black resin and it'll look patchy. I decided to do the leaves, two different colours. This one is teal, and it's a very dark greenish blue. And after I put that on all the leaves, I took it off with wet white and cotton buds. And as you can see on the one below my hand, I took off some mica powder, and then I went back over it in a lighter colour with a lighter green, and it works quite well. And there's the rose. I did the rose in two-tone at the bottom, and there's a bud. This is the bud I'm doing at the top. So this is original footage, where you see me with the blue fingernails, and Mr. Dragon is helping along. This red is really nice. It looks really bright red on the mold, but as you can see, when it's unmolded with the black behind it, The black changed its colour because this is not chameleon mica. This is just ordinary mica powder. And it made it look more of a sort of a burgundy colour, which I liked. I really did like it. So again guys, sorry for the confusion. But as I say, this is the original footage. Mr. Dragon is here, watching everything. Yeah, breathing fire everywhere. Bit smoky. When you use chameleon powders, people usually, I think, do use black, but I have seen people use very dark blues or very dark purples, but I tend to use black. Oh, another tip. In a mold such as this, which is really got lots of really good detail in it, there are spines, there are leaves, there are teeth and scales. So it's very detailed, and you want to get all that lovely resin into all the nooks and crannies. Just bear in mind you have mica there, and if you go scraping it around the edges, you will scrape some of that mica off. So the best thing to do with a mold like this, where you've got lots of pointy bits, is to put your resin on like this and then tap like this. Use your heat gun and a little micro brush to take things down into the points, and even spritz it with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, which helps to remove the surface tension and let the resin flow more evenly to the sides. Heat gun, whatever you can do, but it's best not to go in there with a silicone tool and go wriggling around in the holes. I did a lot of tapping and sort of shimmying around. That worked, it came out perfectly. No holes, no missing bits. I do use a micro brush on the head to just take the resin out towards the edges to make sure that it really gets there, because that's got a lot of tiny little, like scales I suppose they are. So yeah, with the tapping, and this is already on my level surface, because as you guys know, I do not have a level surface to work on, so it has to be on here. Incoming duck! Hello, Mr. Dragon. The chameleon colours I used in this are really nice. And the mermaid's tears, which are the gold parts, that is a stunning colour. I really like it. Some golds look kind of yellow or even orange, but this one, I really like this gold. And also the Alexis colours, which this one is done in, they turned out to be a lot more vibrant. The teal, the blue, and I think it was some kind of magenta in that collection. And you see that red, it looked really kind of like a lipstick red when I put it in the mould. And by putting the black resin behind it, it turned it into a lovely burgundy colour. So that just shows you that what you pour in behind the mica powder really can change the colour. And then I thought he was lacking in a little bit of glitter, so I just sort of finger rubbed on a little bit of this mica and brushed it over. And then I gave him a spritz of Krylon acrylic spray, because obviously if you don't, every time you touch it, you'll get gold sparklies. So yeah, I just thought it's jazzed him up a bit. Anyway, dragons look nice with gold and red scales. Yeah, and just give it a little brush in. Yeah, and I think it really did improve the colour, the overall sort of look of him, blending in more with his scales and his wing spines. And this is a different kind of gold. But yeah, I think that really helped. But we are not done. There is more to this project. What comes next is maybe an idea that you can do. I got myself one of these wooden shapes. It's just a wooden shield. It comes unfinished, and I sprayed it down with 2 coats of the Krylon that I use, and then I sanded it down, and then I sprayed it again, and it did come out a little bit patchy, but overall not too bad. Then I mixed up some resin and some of this mica, and then the fun begins. I don't know whether I always put too much mica in or not, but I'm always so afraid that it's not going to be, thick enough, and it's not going to look black enough. But yeah, it looks okay. So yes, this had to go on my level surface because this is tricky. And I did get a little bit of run over, but I fixed it by sanding it down. And then you carefully take the resin right up to the edge. And also having that acrylic spray on there gave it a little bit of something to hold on to rather than just the bare wood, because I was afraid, if I didn't seal it in some way, that the wood would just unevenly soak up the resin. So yeah, this took a little while because I had to use a mirror to look over the back to see if it had gone all the way up to the edge. And this is how I made the little decorations that go on the shield. And these are tricky because they are very detailed, they're very small, and they have pointy bits. So get your little micro brush out and make sure you get in all those places. Have a good old dig around. Use your heat gun, all your usual stuff, and I even spritzed these, I think, after with some isopropyl alcohol. Again, to disperse the surface tension so that the resin would flow more easily into all the little nooks and crannies. So once you've demolded these, you have to cut them up to get the shapes that you want for the decorative pieces. So you cut these up in order to make, new shapes. And that's how it came out. I think it came out very nicely, really shiny. As I say, I fortunately only had that one overspill, so that was not too much work at all. I tried to get the point of the dragon's tail onto the point of the shield. Oh, and another thing that you might also notice on the dragon, I gave him a red rhinestone eye. But look at those colours, they're fantastic colours. I'll put everything in the descriptions box so that if you want to use these beautiful colours, the chameleons, you can get the same result. I just rearranged all my little bits and bobs around the edge. And I used this craft glue. It's a 3-in-1. It is fantastic. I put together, or used to put together, the little houses that you can buy in sets that have hundreds and hundreds of pieces in them. And I use this glue because it is repositionable. You get a little bit of time to reposition things. It sticks very well. And also, you're bound to get bits of glue that stick out around the edge of the project. This glue has a sort of almost like a rubbery silicone consistency when it's dry, and you can just peel it away from any areas where it's leaked out, and you can clean up your project really nicely. So that's why I use this particular glue. Stick on all my little bits, and you can see at the bottom on the point where I've cut up some of those shapes, some of those moulded shapes, decorative shapes, and made my own shape. Oh, Mr. Dragon's coming in to have a look. No, doesn't like it. Okay.